Okay, so with that, I hope, no, pusuan nyo yung magagandang ginagawa ni Dr. Lin, hindi lang para sa atin mga members, but even for the whole world, no, yung advocacy niya para sa buong mundo. So, hindi ko na kayo bibitinin. Marami ako nakikitang bate, pero isusulat ko muna yung mga bati ninyo habang nakikinig tayo dito sa ating guest speaker. If you have questions regarding sa kanyang presentation, please do send it sa ating live stream. We'll try to find time para maitanong natin yan sa kanya. So, without further ado, let's send in our likes and hearts as we welcome our suking doktor, ang gwapong-gwapo, Star Diamond, Dr. Danilo Sadsad. Good morning, Doc!
Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning, Ma'am Len. Good morning, everybody. Good morning to all DXN distributors. So, okay, as always, I'm here at your service.
So much,
Shall I go on or are you gonna say something else?
Hindi na pa. Sige. Take the, say na pa. Yes, okay.
So thank you very much. First of all, I'll take this opportunity to thank DXN for giving me the chance. It's a privilege and it's a pleasure always to be part of DXN. I've been with DXN for, I think, since 2003, 2002. And I've been using the product, and practically it has helped my family physically in terms of health and financially also. And now I am also doing this as an advocate of health, especially when our topic is Go for Zero Malnutrition. Okay, so can we start the slide so that they can see the title? Yeah. Our topic is Go for Zero Malnutrition. I think zero malnutrition muna. Yan. So, malnutrition is very close to my heart. I've been an advocate to fight against malnutrition. I've been around since before itong lockdown na to. I'm very busy and I'm very much involved in medical missions and feeding programs. I also had the chance to be able to work during my early years in med school and in practice of medicine in rural areas. And I've seen how malnutrition has affected not only the lives of people, but the livelihood also of people. So if we can really unite to overcome malnutrition globally, then this is a big step and a big achievement. And I'm so happy that my company, DXN, which I have been involved in for a long time, is really on the go for this advocacy. So we should go on, and probably we should look into the issues of malnutrition. So I'll be starting with the definition. So what is malnutrition? Siguro lahat naman tayo, we are aware of this. Pero for our purpose of definition, sabi malnutrition is a condition that results from eating a diet in which one or more nutrients are either not enough or too much, such that the diet causes health problems. So, ano yung involved dito? It involves calories. Calories are the energy that we derive from food that we eat. Ito po yung unit of energy. Then it also involves various components like protein, carbohydrates, fats, vitamins and minerals, and other micronutrients. Now, when you say malnutrition, mal coming from the Spanish word bad, so it means it's really involves bad eating habits or bad eating, because nutrition and diet involves eating. So if you eat less than what is required of the body, then you are malnourished. If you are eating more than what is required by the body, then you are still malnourished. Next slide. Yan. So there are two types of malnutrition. There is what we call undernutrition or undernourishment. Well, obviously, if you're undernourished, you are not getting enough calories and enough proteins and micronutrients. So if there is an extreme undernourishment where there is deprivation of food, then that is also called starvation. Now, on the other side of the scale, we have overnutrition, that is eating too much consumption of nutrients. So as you can see in the picture, it is a bursting experience. So if you eat too much, what happens is you grow bigger. Okay. Now, what are the types of malnutrition? And then what is, next slide please. Yan, two types of undernutrition. So ito naman, this is most common because our advocacy, as I've heard our CEO, founder and CEO declare that we are to fight malnutrition, especially in areas like Pakistan and India. In these areas which are considered third world countries, the main type of malnutrition is most likely undernutrition. But we are coming up with a different type of malnutrition in the Western or in the first world countries or in the developed countries, which could be later on we'll be discussing as we go on with our topic. Now, two types of undernutrition. We have protein energy malnutrition. So this is lack of protein and lack of calories. And then the other one is dietary deficiencies or lack of iron, iodine, vitamin, and other vitamins and minerals, which can lead to various health problems. Next slide. Now, so what are the risk factors pertaining to malnutrition? Of course, one of the most important factor right after birth, that's why most doctors, and not only most doctors, I think almost all hospitals in the Philippines and even birthing areas are now advocating breastfeeding. So we are deviating from the usual thought that milk formulas are much more superior than mother's milk. We can see that breastfed children are much well nourished compared to those who are really being fed with milk formula. So we should advocate breastfeeding. This is a very good, and what is good about breastfeeding, it is more economical. It doesn't cost us very much for the mother instead of buying very expensive milk. So breastfeeding is one of the good things. So we can overcome malnutrition when we advocate breastfeed. When we do not breastfeed, then it becomes a risk factor for malnutrition. Then gastrointestinal diseases like gastroenteritis, this can aggravate the deficiency of the nourishment, even though we are eating the right food, but if we cannot absorb them and the body cannot use them, then we still become malnourished. And of course, other illnesses like infections, pneumonia, parasitic infections like malaria, and viral infections like measles, all of this can contribute as risk factors for malnutrition. Next slide. Now, what are the other causes or possible causes of malnutrition? Why is it happening in the world? One is poverty. I think poverty is a very big factor or a cause for malnutrition, since if we can see in very poor countries, the statistics for malnutrition is very high, especially those who are on the undernourished side. Now, ignorance also is a factor because some people really are not aware of the proper nutritional programs, what we should properly eat. So education plays a very big role in terms of malnutrition. We should teach our people, especially in the far-flung provinces, the rural areas, where education is really very difficult. There should be a strong advocacy to disseminate para po ikalat natin yung good information kung paano mapakain na maayos using very simple techniques and yung mga resourceful source of food. Then shortage of food, usually this happens in conditions like mga tinatawag nating calamities. So when there are calamities, kagaya ngayon nitong previous months, we had this lockdown. So there was an artificial shortage of food, not because we don't have enough food, but because there was panic buying and there was difficulty in delivery of goods. But shortage of food basically forces us to eat what is available and what is not proper. So isa pang factor is faulty food habits. There are some people who really have this predisposition of eating their favorite food. I know some people who dwell on instants most of the time because they don't want to cook, they don't want to prepare. So instant is good for emergencies, a quick chow or a quick bite. But these faulty eating habits, if it becomes regular, so this can contribute to malnutrition, especially if you dwell on what you call this instant noodles, fast foods, and so on and so forth. Then faulty food distribution, this could also cause malnutrition, because there are certain areas, like in areas where it's very far from source of seafood, there are predisposition to certain illnesses because there is only a certain type of food that they eat. So this is also a problem. Food insecurity and lack of access to sufficient affordable food. Well, it for whatever reason of lack of access, then this could be probably based on some geographical and political problems, digestive problems, and issues with nutrients absorption. Well, this we can do something about this because this pertains to our health. So very important. It's very important to keep our body healthy, practice good living habits, practice moderation, and then excessive alcohol consumption. Basically, alcohol depletes us of proper nourishment because it competes with our good eating habits. Mental health disorders. Well, of course, a person with mental health disorder does not have the ability to choose the right kind of food. And then inability to obtain food and prepare food. Well, it depends on your situation. If you are unable to obtain and prepare food, then there is very, very strong cause. This is a very, very strong cause for malnutrition. Next slide. So what are the four broad forms of undernutrition? So we have four. We have wasting, stunting, underweight, and micronutrient deficiency. So for one, wasting, this is characterized uh, as low weight and as low weight for height. So compared to our current height, we should have a standard weight for each for our height. So usually this happens when there is insufficiency of food and the quality and quantity of food that we are taking in. And if this happens for a long period of time, this can cause health problems. This can also be created, or this can also happen if we are suffering from prolonged illnesses. So when we come to wasting, so the risk of this is if it is not controlled, especially in children of the younger age group, there is a risk of increased mortality or death. Second, the broad form is yung stunting. We call it stunting. So this is characterized by low height for age. When you say stunting, this is ibig sabihin yung kanyang growth and development hindi na kompleto. So this is a result of chronic or recurrent undernutrition. Usually, it's connected with poverty and maternal health and nutrition, common illnesses, and inappropriate feeding and care in early life. Well, nabanggit yung maternal health, ano? When what is important is in nutrition, we start during pregnancy. We just don't start after birth. Once you give birth, haba pong pinagbubuntis pa lang yung baby, yung bata, dapat nandun na ang element of proper nutrition. So, importante po yan. Okay, now we have underweight. So this is characterized by low weight for age. Then micronutrient deficiency or lack of yung essential vitamins and minerals. So you know why when we buy supplements, it should always be vitamins and minerals together, because there should be a combination of both, because your vitamins cannot be absorbed by the body without the minerals. So kailangan po laging tama yan. So, yun ganun din po yung need for the necessary enzymes, the hormones, and other elements for growth and development. So, pag kulang po yan, we will have micronutrient deficiencies. Okay, so we now see three phases of malnutrition. This is a UNICEF statistics, usually taken for children under 5 years old. So, the most we have is 144 million, which is mostly stunting, or they are malnourished and there is stunted growth. Actually, when you call it, when we go to stunting, is not only the physical development that is stunted, even the mental development is also stunted. Now we have 47 million for wasting. So this is what we see in countries wherein they are really deprived of food, And then on the other end of the scale is 38 million. I think this will eventually, we see a growing number of people on this side. This is the overweight population. This is very common in developed countries because there is so much abundance of food, and the predominance of fast foods and sugar-rich food causes us to have really many children who are overweight. Next slide. Now, two types of malnutrition. We have the kwashiorkor and the marasmus. The marasmus is a typical picture of a malnourished child who is really deprived of almost all nutrients. So what happens is there is really shrinkage of tissues, skin and bones. On the other side is kwashiorkor. This one, you see the common picture you see in magazines, the one with pot bellies. There's edema. This is more of a malnutrition caused by lack of proteins or protein calorie malnutrition. Protein is very necessary for movement of fluids in our body. So when you have lack of protein, you have then this tendency to have edema. Sa Tagalog yan is manas. So yan yung malnourished na manas, yan yung kwashiorkor. Yung marasmus, ito yung malnourished na payat na payat. Okay, next slide. So this is just a chart of various vitamins and their deficiencies. I will not go over everything, but I just want you to see, tingnan nyo, run through lang po tayo. Vitamin A, so poor vision, night blindness. So what should we eat? Food rich in vitamin A, peanuts, carrots, mga yellow vegetables and fruits. Then B1 is thiamine. There is extreme weakness, yung berry. Most of the times, ngayon na po, wala na po masyadong berry. Doon lang sa talagang mga malnourished. So what should we eat? More of eggs. We have yung meat, yeast, yan sa ating mga tinapay. Then we have riboflavin, B2, that's retarded growth, bad skin. So we can get this from vegetables, green leafy vegetables, beans, milk. B12, we have anemia. So yung mga non-vegetarian food like meat, kailangan natin ng karne. Yung meat protein, kailangan din po natin yan. And then ascorbic acid, nandiyan yung scurvy natin, swollen gums, loose teeth. So we can get this from various fruits and vegetables like your oranges, lemon, lime. Of course, in DXN, we have a good source of spirulina, but we'll talk about it as good source of vitamin C, but we'll talk about it later. So calciferol, that's vitamin D. So nandiyan yung tinatag nating rickets, brittle bones. So where do we get more of our vitamin D? Milk, fish, liver, at saka yung mga liver oil natin na yan, cod liver oil, maganda yan sa ating rich in vitamin D yan. And then we have vitamin K, so there is excessive bleeding. So anong kailangan natin? Green leafy vegetables. Now ano pa yung mga minerals? We need calcium, we need phosphorus, iron, iodine, and copper. So pag calcium, we have brittle bones. Again, you can get this from vegetables and milk. Phosphorus, yung phosphorus, hindi po ito yung sinisindihan. Ito po yung phosphorus na mineral. So, kailangan natin to para sa development ng teeth and bones. Saan natin makakain yan? Mga cereals natin and milk. And then iron, ito po yung iron, hindi pang construction, kundi para sa ating dugo ito. So, if you lack iron, you will have iron deficiency anemia, yung red blood cells natin maging mahina. So we get this from green vegetables and meat, of course. Iodine, yan. Iodine, kailangan natin to para hindi tayo magkaroon ng goiter o bosyo. So we get this from seafoods. Again, we have a good product for that in DXN. Then copper, ito po yung copper na hindi tanso na pang-kuryente, kundi ito yung copper na mineral na kailangan natin. So usually this promotes, lack of copper promotes growth retardation. So kailangan natin yan again from leafy vegetables. Next slide. Now, what are the common signs and symptoms of undernutrition? So una-una, we have unintentional weight loss. So yun po yung problema natin. Pagka more than 5 to 10% weight loss, yan po ay in a period of 3 to 6 months, yan po sinasabi natin ay malnutrition yan. Low body weight, yung tinatawag nating body mass index, this is a very good indication also or gauge for malnutrition. We use BMI to calculate undernourishment and overnourishment. yung obese side, BMI din ang ginagamit natin. Ano pa nakikita natin sa mga malnourished? There is a lack of interest in eating and drinking, and then usually a malnourished child feels tired all the time. Next slide. Ano pa? Feeling weaker, getting sick and takes time to recover, mahina ang kanyang resistensya, ang immune system is also compromised, and then not growing and not putting in children on weight at the expected rate. Ito po yung tinatawag nilang stunting, and then poor concentration. Bakit po? When you go into stunting, you also retard yung development ng ating brain. So, mahirap sila mag-isip. They do not develop. So, how do we prevent malnutrition? Of course, pag sinabi mong prevention ng malnutrition, dapat kakain tayo ng tama. So ano ba yung tamang pagkain? Well, we have a very simple guide, our food pyramid. So if you look at the bottom line, which is the most abundant number of food that we should eat, dapat po dito fruits and vegetables. So eat plenty of fruits and vegetables. And then sa gitna, nakita natin, kailangan natin ng mga starchy food like bread, rice, potatoes, and pasta. Why? Because starch is carbohydrate, so we need this for energy. Then of course, on the upper before the tip, we have the proteins. So we need proteins. We can get this from milk, from eggs, from meat, from vegetable proteins like beans. We need proteins because these are the building blocks of our muscles. Even our enzymes are proteins. So we did also a lot of good nutrition coming from breastfeeding. Kasi po ang problema, ang kagandahan sa breastfeeding, kompleto na po itong pagkain na to for newborn kids. So kung hindi sila nabe-breastfeed, what they see is less breastfed children are more prone to mortality and death due to malnutrition. And of course, another way to prevent malnutrition is proper cooking. So we should also look into our cooking habits. Baka naman yung niluluto natin ay carbo na, sobrang lutong-luto na. So we should see how we can properly prepare vegetables. Ay iba binablanch lang. So look into that. Look into the proper cooking system so that we can prevent malnutrition. What else? Ito po. So, isa pang prevention is prevent wasting food. Marami pong nagugutom ngayon. So, eat only what we can consume. Hindi yung eat all you want at saka eat all you can, eat only all you need. Yun lang po. Kasi tayo mahilig sa eat all you can, eat all you want. Di ba? Eat what you need. Yun po importante. And don't throw and don't waste food. Then, ano pa? We should encourage people to take the healthier food options or choices. Dapat po pinipili din natin yung kinakain natin. Huwag lang yung basta makalipas lang ng gutom, okay na. So, see the things that we be choosy with our food because we are what we eat. Diba? So, tama yun. We are what we eat. If you eat lots of veggies, then you go green. Hindi, joke lang po yan. You go slim. Yan. So, intake of healthy food is better. So, maganda po yan, makatulong sa atin. When you are on a limited diet, you can spice up your food by using herbs and spices para maganda yung flavor, especially if you should go down on salt and sugar. Now, if dietary changes are not providing you with enough nutrients, sabihin, hindi mo siya nakukuha sa pagkain because of your lifestyle, then supplementation is a must. Kailangan po natin magdagdag ng mga kulang. Kasi kung di natin siya makuha sa ating regular diet, it's not available, it's not convenient, then we can always supplement. Okay? Next slide. Ano pa? Proper exercise. This can also help because it improves bone strength, it improves muscle strength, and it also provides better blood circulation. So, mas maganda ang ating absorption ng ating food and distribution ng food throughout the body. And monitor eating habits, situation, understand if it is caused due to financial or physical issues. So, ibig sabihin nito, maging conscious po tayo sa mga ginagawa natin, lalong-lalo na sa pagkain natin. Unang-una, kung ito ba ay cost-effective, tama ba yung binibili mong pagkain? Kasi iba, basta mura lang, okay na. Diba? Wag yung ganon. We should see yung cost-effectiveness of food. Hindi baling medyo costly, basta't maganda sa katawan. Diba? So, yung mga issues na yan. And then also, try to dwell on food that preserves the environment. Okay. Next slide. I mean, may video to. So before I go on, I think we have a video.
Worldwide, malnutrition affects 1 in 3 people. Malnutrition contributes to between 35 and 55% of all childhood deaths, or even more in acute emergency situations. There are 2 common types of malnutrition. Firstly, there is protein energy malnutrition, which results from a diet lacking all major macronutrients, such as carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. Secondly, there is nutrient malnutrition caused by a diet lacking essential vitamins and minerals. Malnutrition can cause several conditions, such as kwashiorkor, which commonly manifests itself through accumulation of fluids in the tissue, marasmus when sufferers appear skeletally thin, or stunting, a long-term effect of malnutrition resulting in short height or length for a particular age. Using this knowledge, one can easily assess if a child is malnourished. For infants less than 6 months old, you should observe for visible severe wasting of the muscles of shoulders, arms, buttocks, and legs. In extreme cases, there may be folds of skin on buttocks and thighs. Other indications are if the child's ribs can easily be seen and if the legs appear small compared to the abdomen and waist. For children aged 6 months and more, a more conclusive test is the mid-upper arm circumference measurement. For this, ask the mother or carer to uncover the child's arm. Estimate the midpoint of the left arm. Straighten the child's arm and wrap the tape around the midpoint. Make sure the numbers are right side up and the tape is flat around the skin. Inspect the tension of the tape on the child's arm. Make sure the tape has the proper tension and is not too tight or too loose. Repeat any step if necessary. When the tape is in the correct position and correct tension on the arm, read and call out the measurement to the nearest tenth of a centimeter. Immediately record the measurement. And finally, one should feel for edema on both feet by pressing gently with the thumb on the top side of each foot for at least 3 seconds. If a dent remains following the pressing, this is called pitting edema. After performing these tests, it may be necessary to refer the child to a medical officer or hospital. If a child under 6 months has visible signs of severe wasting or edema of both feet, they must be referred. If a child older than 6 months has a mid-upper arm measurement of less than 11.5 centimeters or pitting edema and a medical complication such as pneumonia, diarrhea, and fever, they must also be referred.
Okay, so now we resume our presentation. Well, like we have presented, so malnutrition is a very, very big problem globally. Now, we are so happy that DXN has really involved itself, especially our founder and CEO, Dr. Lim Shoujin, as appointed as the Goodwill Ambassador by IMSAM. Well, I'm so happy to hear that even the United Nations is supporting spirulina. IMSAM is specifically a mandate advocating the use of spirulina for malnutrition to be actually overcome. Well, why is it very important for us to use spirulina? For us, especially for DXN distributors, this is a good news, very, very good news. And for me, this is also an eye-opener and also very exciting because I've been also involved in various feeding programs, and it's really very difficult to sustain malnutrition or to overcome malnutrition with just simple feeding programs. With the advocacy of our founder and CEO and the United Nations through IMSAM, then we can really help overcome malnutrition. Why? Because when we give spirulina, it is not only feeding them once, but it is allowing them to have an access to good nutrition continuously. So ano ba yung maganda po sa spirulina and who are the people who should eat spirulina? So one, spirulina. Ang spirulina po is very good. Next slide. It is very good for people uh, who are on a restricted diet. Yung mga compromise po ang pagkain. Why? Ano po ba yung spirulina? This is a form of algae or it's a microscopic plant. At dito po, it is very, very rich in nutrients and it is very good for our general health. It is almost complete. So those who will benefit from this is yung mga restricted ang diet. Ibig sabihin, yung talagang hirap kumain. Ako, I take around 3 to 6 spirulinas per day to sustain diet. Not because I need to gain weight, but I need to lose weight because I'm on the other side of the scale. Now, pregnant women and nursing mothers, like we said earlier, nutrition starts from conception. So, habang pinagbubuntis pa lang yung bata, importante ang well-nourished, ang well-nourished yung mother because the nourishment of the mother is passed on to the child. So, spirulina can play a very big role in nourishing pregnant women and nursing mothers. Those living a stressful, active, and modern lifestyle. Bakit? Alam naman natin, if you are active in your lifestyle, lahat yan, on the move, on the go, mabilis ang takbo ng buhay mo, oftentimes, ang eating is taken for granted. So, makakatulong po ang spirulina dyan. Those consuming fewer than their 3 balanced meals a day. So, kung hindi ka nakakakain halos 3 square meals a day, bakit? Not only because of poverty, but because of probably mga responsibilities, yung tawag ng trabaho and anything or whatever is causing this, makakatulong po ang spirulina to augment, to have a balanced meal for the whole day. Those who are regularly subjected to intense physical activity, kung ikaw ay manual ang iyong labor, spirulina provides good nutrition and good calories or energy also. So, yung maganda po dito, who do not get the recommended intake of fresh fruits and vegetables. Bakit? Ang sabi ng food pyramid, dapat maraming prutas at gulay. In fact, they advocate the more the better. Around 5 to 10 servings of fruits and vegetables. So, wala tayong access dito. Spirulina po is a very good substitute. Pangtulong po ang spirulina. Next slide. So, spirulina to fight malnutrition, well, this is an advocacy. This is a very good advocacy. Ito po ay pinakita sa mga journals. Actually, I tried digging into some journals regarding spirulina. Based on the journal that I've read, ito po, just 7 grams of spirulina gives us 20 calories and all the nutrients that is necessary for the day. Kasi ang spirulina, it contains calcium, niacin, potassium, magnesium, B-complex vitamins, and iron. It also contains proteins. Actually, yung pong spirulina natin, yung dry weight ng spirulina is around 60 to 70% protein. So, yung pong pagkain ng spirulina, just at least, sabi nga, 7 grams give you 20 calories and all the necessary nutrients for the day or for a meal. Next slide. So, ang maganda po sa spirulina, it's 100% alkaline. What is good about DXN spirulina is that we produce our own spirulina. We cultivate our own spirulina in a very good system. Dr. Lim has seen to it that our system of cultivation is very clean. Wala pong pesticide, walang herbicide, so it's all natural. So, yun po yung kagandahan ng ating spirulina. It's really very pure. Okay, next slide. So, what is the world saying about spirulina? So, ayan, makikita natin, sabi ng World Food Conference, ang spirulina daw is the most ideal food for mankind. So, spirulina is the food for the future. Ano sabi ng iba pa? The most ideal and perfect food for tomorrow. Spirulina as mankind's best health product in the 21st century. So everybody is saying good words, or they appreciate the good qualities of spirulina, especially when it comes to nutrition and health and wellness. What else? Next slide. Now, with spirulina, we are so proud that in DXN, we have other products that can also promote good health. Importante po sa atin kasi yung nutrition. So, first and foremost, we advocate for us, every one of us, Kung kayo man ay overweight o kayo man ay underweight, gusto ko po i-stress to, you can benefit from spirulina. Kung underweight po kayo, ang spirulina po is a very good nutritional support. You can take it with every meal that you have, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. If you are overweight, then spirulina is also a very good supplement so that you can get good nutrition with less calories. So this can also help us somehow lower down our weight. So because if you eat excess calories and then you don't get to burn them, then they are converted by our body into fats. So taking more of spirulina and then eating lighter food will prevent us from getting hungry, and later on we'll be eating the proper amount of food and will not grow fat or will not grow overweight. Now, other products in DXN that can supplement or help us with our nourishment, we have Ganoderma, our RGGL, we have Russell, Pollen, and Cordypine. Next slide. So, as we all know, Ganoderma is the king of herbs. It's been around for more than 2,000 years. It's very well loved by the Chinese people. Now we can see that this mushroom, our Ganoderma, is being appreciated all over the world. Even Chinese, Japanese, even Americans, even Europeans are getting to love this. It is known to promote longevity, paghaba ng buhay, stamina, and good health. Next slide. So in our arsenal sa DXN po, we have two, yung RG, yung Reshigano, which is the 90-day-old. Ito po yung matured mushroom, ripe mushroom. And then we have the Ganocilium. Of course, this is the 14-day-old. This helps, both of them helps detoxify and balance the function of our body. Well, with RGGL, next slide. With RGGL, we can help not only promote good absorption of nutrients, but it can also help sustain our immune system. It can also help fight against toxins. It also improves the body function, mga lahat ng body functions, blood circulation, digestion, respiration, and everything. So this is very good to augment nourishment. If you take spirulina and you take RGGL, then they combine in making the body function better. Next slide. Ano pa? Next slide. Now, bee pollen. Bee pollen, like spirulina, is a very good dietary supplement also. We know the bees are good hunters of food. So, yung bee pollen po, ito yung nakukuha sa mga bees, and it's been known for ages that it contains a lot of proteins, minerals, and amino acids and enzymes. So, with our spirulina supplementing the proper nutrient, we can also take our bee pollen, because it doesn't only give us nutrition, but it is also a very, very good source of energy. It promotes a well-being, and it also improves yung ating skin tone. Alam niyo po, maganda ang mga bee products for our skin. Next slide. Now, Russell, this is a natural source of vitamin C. We all know vitamin C is very, very important for most aspects of our growth and development, about sustaining health. Yung ating immune system, we need vitamin C to promote a good immune system. We need vitamin C to have a good circulation. This is good for our heart. And we also need vitamin C to fight infection. So, importante po. And what we have with us is Russell, which is a very, very natural and a potent source of vitamin C. On top of that, it is also a very good antioxidant. So, it helps wards off mga toxins sa ating katawan. Good source of calcium. It has carbohydrates, so it gives us energy also. And has a good source of iron and sodium. So, maganda po rin yan sa ating dugo. So, vitamin C through our Russell juice and to our Russell tablets. Next slide. Then, our Cordypine. Now, what is good about Cordypine is, una-una, meron na siyang cordyceps. Cordyceps is very good for our oxygenation ng ating katawan. It's good for producing more energy. Yung ATP, ito po yung ating energy units sa ating katawan, which is generated by our cells. Ang cordyceps po is very good in helping us promote or create more energy in our body. Plus, yung benefit of enzymes galing sa pineapple. Ano po ba yung enzyme na nandito sa pineapple? Yung bromelain. Bromelain is a good enzyme to help us digest mga meat. So, ibig sabihin, if we take in our Cordypine together with good eating habits, lean meat, walang masyadong taba, then we can easily absorb and get more protein from what we are eating. So, I advocate everyone na sa atin po sa mga DXN products, try using these products to somehow help us in improving our nourishment. Kung tayo ay nasa undernourished side or tayo nasa overnourished side, all these products can help us improve and have a healthier lifestyle. So I would like to reiterate yung spirulina. This is a very good food nutrient, even for undernourished and overnourished. If you're undernourished, it supplies the necessary energy and the necessary nutrients. If you're overnourished, then it can also help you cut down on food because spirulina is high nutrition, low calorie. Now we can also go to RGGL. RGGL is a very good supplement to enhance our immune system, to enhance blood circulation, to enhance our digestive system, our respiratory system. So overall, it helps improve our health and nutrition. Then we also have our bee pollen, which is an augmentation for spirulina in terms of nutrients and in terms of energy. And of course, we have our Cordypine, a good source of cordyceps and a good source of enzyme that will facilitate better digestion and eventually better nourishment for our body. Next slide. So with all of that, I say that let us go for zero hunger. Let us take part and do our share in overcoming the malnutrition across the globe. In this way, we can help in providing better health and nutrition and in shaping the future of the children, our children and our children's children. So I hope we did give you something that you can learn today. Let us share this and be part of the advocacy for zero malnutrition. Thank you so much. Good morning, DXN.
Po, Doc Sadsad, no? I'm sure kadamihan sa atin, though narinig na natin yung mga ibang sinabi ni Doc, but there's always a new information na nakukuha natin sa every training that we attend to. Like, for this afternoon, tong malnutrition, we heard na RGGL, spirulina, combined with bee pollen, cordypine, and napakaganda pala for the digestive system, for nutrient absorption because it provides enzymes at the nutrients na kailangan ng ating katawan. So, habang pinagpapahinga natin si Doc Sadsad, ako muna ay bigyan niyo ng pagkakataon para bumate. No? Thank you again, Doc. Salamat ha. Please stay lang po at because we have a few questions for you. I'd like to extend greetings. No? Unang-una po kay Tito Jaime Kiding and Mercy Kiding who is watching with us today. No? Tito Jimmy, hi. Kumusta ka po? I hope you're all doing great. Si Roy of Team Empower, Tita Letty and Tito Devin si Hiyon, si Tita Janice Cruz is also watching, Bing Nor, Tita Bing Nor, and Mads Nor is also watching, Tito Romy Ploshos, hello, kumusta po? Fonzie Alfonso, aabangan namin ang iyong pag-host, kapatid, ha? So we'll be waiting for that. Tito Fred Valdez, Tita Babes Acosta, si Miss Orlita Sinon from Peñaranda, Judy Rose from, binabati niya, sabi niya, Jude kaayo ang DXN. Sana tama yung pagkakasabi ko. Si Joey Lugationan, sabi ni Chaisenger Falcon, marami talaga ako natututunan dito sa live stream, kaya more hataw ako sa DXN business ko. Thank you. Thank you daw. Okay? Si Mr. Jason Pasha of DXN EDG team, Richard Bantugan of Evacom, si Miss Joy Lingato, Miss Annabel Sanico, Chi Otayde, Tito Stack Sabeliano, hello, kumusta po kayo dyan? Si Miss Mimi Latihio, si Miss Janina Dumigpi, Rowena Sala de los Santos, si Miss Lola Lynn Jugalbot, sa Benato, pinababati niya yung kanyang upline na si Lauro Edgar, si Miss Nini Blando from the WAG Service Center, Yodeline Valduesa, and of course, Miss Bevelyn Puten. Hi, Miss Bevelyn. And si Jovelyn is also watching with us. Before we resume with our question and answer, meron ako nakitang isang question dito galing sa ating kasama dito sa ating live stream. I'd like to call in again Miss Ivy for our marketing updates. Miss Ivy?
Hello, partner Len, Miss Len. Oo,
Yes.
actually, meron tayong changes muna, no? We may proceed muna sa ating Q&A with Doc kasi parang may date yata siya.
Okay. Yes. Hindi ko naman alam. Sorry naman, Doc.
Oo. Ngayon lang yung sinabi na may date siya. Okay, balik natin si Doc.
Sige. Okay. Doc, are you there already?
Date ako, kasama ko yung lola ko mamaya.
Ayan.
Sige, shoot.
Okay, Doc.
Yes.
Based on the definition of malnutrition kanina, sabi mo, nutrients are either not enough or too much, di ba?
Yes.
So sabi mo nga, an obese person can also be considered as malnourished. So conditions like diabetes and heart problems, consider din yon as a result of malnourishment?
Yes, actually, based sa definition natin, if there is too much or too less of nutrients, that can lead to health problems, di ba? So actually, obesity and overweight are risk factors for diabetes and heart problems. That's why if you're obese, there is a more likely for you to develop diabetes, there's more likely for you to develop hypertension and other heart problems.
But what's good about our products is regardless if you are
in
malnourished,
condition, yung products natin, what could help is basically yung sinabi ko kanina, if you are obese and you're overweight, you can use spirulina to cut down on usually mga junk food na yan, mga food that you don't really need so much, mga fries, yan, sorry ha, doon sa mga mahilig sa fries, sa mga burger, sa mga pizza, at saka sa mga milk tea ng puro sugar, aray, sorry. But you can, ako din, kape din. You can use spirulina to augment and to improve yung inyong appetite para hindi kayo magutom lagi. And then, ang maganda sa spirulina, it's good in nutrition, but it is low in calorie. Remember, any excess calorie that you don't burn for the day is converted to fats. The more we are overweight, the bigger or the longer is our abdominal girth, yung mas malaki yung ating tiyan, the shorter the life.
Okay. Okay, Doc. Alam naman natin na yung ating spirulina, sabi mo nga, puno ng calories or puno ng nutrients. Alam naman din natin na it's just a food. So, wala naman talagang sobra-sobra. But what is the ideal na number of either tablets or capsules na pwede nating inumin or pwede nating i-take na sakto lang? I mean, what our body really needs na hindi naman sobra-sobra na nawawala lang o hindi naman din talaga fully na-absorb ng katawan natin.
Well, basically, based on studies, ito yung nakita ko sa mga journals, 7 grams of spirulina gives us 20 calories in terms of energy, and it gives us the right amount of proteins, vitamins, and minerals, and micronutrients that we need for a meal. So, ibig sabihin, that is 7 grams. So, kung ang spirulina natin is 350 milligrams per capsule, so around 3 is more than 1 gram, di ba? Tama ba yung aking math? Mahina ako sa math, kaya ako nagdoktor eh. 3 capsules is around 1 gram. And then, if you will convert that kung 1 gram times 7, that's around 3 times 7, 21 capsules in a day.
Ang kailangan?
Hindi naman. That is just a parang benchmark lang yan. So, kung hindi mo naman masyadong, let's say, kumakain ka ng gulay, may kanin ka, may ulam ka. So, just augment, yung hindi ka nakapaggulay, para ma-augment naman yung need mo for vegetables, then you can add spirulina on every meal. let's say nag-almusal ka, ang kinain mo puro bacon lang at saka puro itlog lang, so wala kang vegetables, take 2 capsules of spirulina during breakfast. Di ba?
Okay.
And then, let's say, gusto mo lunch, ganun din, wala kang ibang mapuntahan kasi nandyan lang puro fast food, yung may mga bubuyog dyan at saka yung merong clown sa paligid. Alam mo na yon, di ba?
Ganon. Okay.
Tapos puro mantika yung patatas mo, di ba?
At
So,
asin.
at saka asin. Tapos yung iyo ay go large ka pa dun sa matamis na iyong beverage. So, you can add spirulina also on that meal kung yun ang lunch mo. And then dinner, syempre if you really want to cut on weight, pwedeng mag-light dinner ka na lang, low calorie dinner plus spirulina. So in fact, you can take spirulina every meal. Yun
Yeah,
yung
okay.
regular. Now, if you really need more of the nutrient, then you can add more. Ang maganda kasi sa spirulina, since pagkain lang yan, walang overdose.
Yes.
Overdose. Ang,
Alright.
ang over lang dyan is over budget pagka wala ka ng budget.
Kaya ganun yung tanong ko. Para for those na minsan nagko-compute sila, they would know na itong ganito kadami is pwede na din. Kasi yung iba, pag hindi ko naman mainom yung ganong kadami, baka wala namang effect. So at least they would know na 2 capsules per meal.
That's good enough.
Okay. Okay. Tapos kanina, you were saying na it's very important for a pregnant woman na maging maganda yung kanyang nutrition while being pregnant, no? Para hindi maging malnourished yung bata. Kanina, meron tayong question dito galing kay Andrea Lambino. Pwede po lahat ng DXN, vitamins at kape na 3-in-1 sa buntis?
Kala ko ba spirulina lang tanong niya.
Sige, pwede ba ang spirulina at kape?
Actually, taking the question as it is, well, ganito yan. Ang coffee kasi is depende. Ako kasi ayokong gawin siyang generalization, But alam mo naman minsan, kahit ginawal ng OB, nagkakape naman yung mga buntis. Wala naman akong pinatatamaan dyan. Pero gano'n naman talaga. Usually, because coffee is something cultural sa Pilipino. Diba? So, we really can't avoid coffee. But probably just having a cup of coffee a day, in a day, 1 cup of coffee in a day won't do much harm. Pero ang sa akin, if ni-restrict ka ng OB mo not to drink coffee, then comply. Sunod ka lang. Diba? Pero kung wala ka namang restriction from your obstetrician to drink coffee, then probably 1 cup in a day of healthy coffee is good enough. Diba? And then of course, yung ibang vitamins and minerals natin, sabi ko nga, as long as wala kang restriction from your obstetrician para wala tayong conflict, and they allow you to take that, especially yung spirulina and yung RGGL, then I would allow and I would encourage. Pero sabi ko, kung ayaw ng obstetrician natin, then wag tayo makipag-away sa kanila. Let us comply. Anyway, siguro pagkatapos mag-test, pwede na siyang mag-uminom ng products. Pero yung spirulina, I don't see any reason kung bakit hindi siya papayagan kasi it's very nutritious. United Nations nga in-advocate, di ba? So ibig sabihin, that is a good cue for us na spirulina is really very good.
Okay, thank you, Doc. No, yung iba nga, kahit bawal ang milk tea, pero dahil buntis ang nag-crave, milk tea pa more, no? So, yung healthy coffee natin mas pwede.
Yes, definitely.
Doc, ito galing po kay Tito Stack Savellano. Question po, Doc Sadsad, what is your recommendation for 6 to 10, 13 to 16, and 17 to 20-year-old youth athletes for spirulina tablets and capsules? So sa 6 to 10 years old, how many spirulina tablets ang pwede?
Usually, pag good appetite ang bata, importante lang naman sa bata is to train them to eat fruits and veggies. Now, if they are trained to eat junk foods, nasanay sa junk food yan, I would advocate them 1 to 2 tablets ng spirulina. Ang tablet mo is 250 milligrams lang naman yan. So, that's around 500 milligrams every meal. So, pang-augment lang yan. Actually, tingnan natin, wala naman tayo doon sa extreme malnutrition scale. So, kung hindi naman talaga tayo extremely malnourished, ang spirulina natin is just to augment nutrition. Siyempre,
Okay.
wala namang bata na mabubuhay ng puro spirulina lang. Hindi yan magugustuhan ng bata,
Yes.
di ba? So, pag may kinakain sila na kulang, pangdagdag natin spirulina.
So kung 13 to 16 years old, mga athletes to, mga atleta.
13 to 16 years old, well, athletes yan, they need more. Actually, kung athletes yan, I would advocate spirulina, Pollen, at saka cordyceps. Kasama na natin ang cordyceps sa athlete. Siyempre, kasama RGGL dyan para malakas yung kanilang resistensya. Diba? Pero spirulina, kasi ang athlete, maraming sinusunog na energy yan. So, they can go as many as they want. Huwag lang nila inumin yung bote. Yun laman lang. Joke lang.
So dito, Stax, sabayan daw po ng RGGL, cordyceps, no? Para mas maganda yung effect sa katawan.
Kasi they need lots of energy and they consume lots of oxygen. Tsaka kailangan generated more ATP, more energy sa katawan.
Okay. So last question, Doc, no? Now that we already know how to alleviate malnutrition through proper food and our food supplements, how long do we expect to see results? Kasi for example, isang malnourished na bata, kapag inalagaan na natin, pinakain natin ng tama, binigyan natin ng tamang food supplements, makikita ba natin agad yung pagbabago o yung pag-improve na kanilang condition?
Well,
So
actually,
what's our gauge?
ang gauge natin is again yung BMI natin, kung tumataba ba sila o pumapayat ba sila, depende sa need natin. Overweight yung bata, pumapayat ba with our program. Of course, it's not only, we cannot only rely on food supplement to attain what is good health sa ating expectation. Kung overweight ka, then you can use supplements to facilitate weight loss. Siyempre kasama dyan ang exercise, kasama dyan ang adequate sleep. Alam mo, pagka hindi ka masyadong nakakatulog, if you sleep less, you eat more. Diba? You sleep less, you eat more. Kaya pagka you sleep less, you eat more, you grow fat.
Okay.
Sorry ha, mga parang medyo, okay, parang may mga reaction din sa paligid ko na hindi maganda. Pero, pero yun ang kagandahan, we use our supplements to augment. Now, ang tanong, how long or how short is yung effectivity? Alam nyo kasi ang nutrition is a lifetime system. It is a lifestyle. Diba?
Okay.
Hindi po yung nutrition ngayon, next week wala na muna, and then next month na tayo uli sa nutrition, and then wellness na muna tayo next month, and then pabayaan na muna natin. Hindi pwedeng ganon. It has to be consistent. So I would say you should advocate it as a lifetime thing.
Alright, sige. Doc, maraming po ulit salamat sa iyong oras. Meron po ba kayong gustong batiin?
Binabati ko yung aking pinakamamahal na asawa, mga anak, si Mickey, si
Ito
Daniel.
happy anniversary, Doc.
Yeah, July 5, it was our 33rd year anniversary.
Ang haba ng pasensya ni Doktora.
Ha?
Ang haba ng pasensya ni Doktora.
Oo nga, pinagtyagaan ako 33 years. Marami pa siyang tatyagain sa akin. Well, thank you so much. I wish I could give you more time. Nag-aantay na yung lola ko eh. Can I go?
Okay. Doc, thank
Sige.
you very much ulit po
Salamat.
for your time here. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for the privilege. And it's my pleasure always. Good morning.
Okay. Morning po, Doc. Alright, so habang nagpiprepare si Ivy, again, maraming salamat kay Doc Dan Sadsad sa kanyang oras sa pagbigay ng kadagdagang kaalamanan sa atin regarding sa nutrition. Now we know na food supplement is not enough. Kailangan meron pa ring right food, may exercise, enough sleep, no? And ang end point should be, it's a change of lifestyle talaga. Hindi pwedeng, ngayon, buwan na to, isang bote maubos ko, okay na siguro ako. Tapos pag nakaramdam ulit ng problema, tsaka ulit iinom. No? It shouldn't be like that. It's supposed to be a lifestyle. No? So I encourage everyone na talagang tuloy-tuloyin po natin yung pag-take natin ng ating mga supplements. Not just because we don't want to get sick, but ang endpoint natin is because we want to be healthy and achieve complete wellness. Gusto ko lang i-share sa inyo, ang daddy ko has been taking RGGL, spirulina, and as we went along, kung ano yung mga nadadagdag nating products now, pati Pollen, lion's mane, black cumin, androgy are all part of his daily food. Sa kanya talagang niyakap niya yung turo ni Dr. Lim na the supplements, the RG and the GL, ay ang kanyang pagkain. Yung kinakain niya, yun ang kanyang supplement. No? Binaliktad niya. And ako naman ay lagi kong pinagmamalaki na at his age, he will be 78. Kasi 27 lang daw siya forever. But he'll be turning 78 this year. And yet talaga yung enerhiya, yung kanyang resistensya ay napakaganda po. Kaya I encourage everyone na talagang tuloy-tuloyin po natin, gamitin natin talaga yung ating mga produkto para ma-achieve natin yung mahabang, masarap na buhay.